She's doing there?
She can I brag?
Sure.
She was accepted at like Teach for America. Tried it for 8 weeks. Said, Dad, I can't do this. I go, why? It's a guaranteed job. It's good. It's only 2 years. She goes, Dad, that's 10% of my life. Okay. And she goes, I have to go overseas. School of Foreign Service. I go, where do you want to go? Well, my kids were born in Britain and all that stuff. They got all that stuff. And she goes, I'll find some place. In 3 weeks' time, she found a startup company in Mumbai, or in Tokyo, Mumbai, and Philly. And the company that she's now joined is called Parthenon. And they're a management consulting firm with offices in Mumbai, London, Boston, San Francisco. Dad is very, very happy.
Wow.
And it's in her space, it's in education.
Nice.
So they're building educational systems in Dubai, like from all the mistakes we've made here for 50 years.
Mm.
And
Boy, wouldn't that be interesting?
Boy, I'll say. Shoot.
So someday
You're in charge of the camera over there? Is that your job?
Yes.
Admit, I love Fat Tire.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, and Chris Pelley, you are the leader here in our area, in fact in our state, as it relates to social entrepreneurism and social enterprise. I want to thank you for recruiting her to be to be the keynote speaker here at the ACG event.
I appreciate it. I found a long time ago, under the heading of self-preservation, it's not a bad idea to find talented people and push them up onto the stage, and you might get a little bit of recognition for that, but thanks.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, Kim, it was very, very interesting when you started talking about your people and the teams and the culture. And I think it's a great lesson for not only new entrepreneurs, but older companies and middle-sized companies, companies of all sizes, to really take a real good hard look at that.
I am always impressed by my coworkers. They make me cry sometimes because they're so, dedicated and creative and playful, and I still have many pinch me moments.
That's fantastic.
One of the observations that you made, that it is the little things in life. Life is a delicate balance. And you said that you literally break bread with your people, that
Yes.
everyone shares meals.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, that's simple.
That is.
Something that simple that's so meaningful.
Yeah, I like ritual a lot as
Right.
well, and so twice a year we have our ownership induction, which means when you've passed the mark for being 1 year vested for the employee stock ownership plan, we have a ceremony, and I make mojos for every person who is in that 6-month time frame ceremony. And we ask them to stand up essentially in front of their tribe and say, this is why it matters to me. And we ask them to each give a presentation. And at the end, we'd have a little mojo ceremony, and all of the other owners are in the room. And people will say, this is my favorite day of the year. We do it twice in the year. Because it's so great to get that shot of enthusiasm from new owners about why this is important to them, why they feel like an owner. So
That's a great idea.
and some
really
people
is.
do performance art, some people do songs, some people, stand up and speak from the heart. It's a really interesting ceremony, and it kind of has that transitioning feeling to it. Now I've transitioned into being an owner.
Fantastic.
What about the bicycle?
When you work for New Belgium for a year, you get a bicycle.
Very cool.
And our hope is that people will ride them, and then when we've worked together for 5 years, I take people along with our brewmaster and a couple of other people from New Belgium. I take people to Belgium, and we spend
Old Belgium.
to Old Belgium.
Yeah.
We spend a week traveling around and learning about Belgian beer culture.
I think we need to end the interview. She's raising the bar pretty high.
Boy,
for most
she really
businesses.
is.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
It is fun.
And you also have I'm calling it an event, but a time when you get all the employees together.
Retreat.
The retreat.
Yeah.
And you get input from them.
Yeah. That's been really powerful for us because it creates a level of trust and transparency, and also an expectation that people be involved. We don't say it's mandatory that you go, but we do say you better have a good reason for not being here.
Fantastic. I thought that was a wonderful thing. Anytime you can get input and they don't have to feel funny or bad or afraid about giving input, that is great.
Yeah, yeah.
What would you say if you were to pick out one thing out of your long list of things about people, best way to tap into them and get the most out of them?
The best way to tap into people and get the most out of them is to start, to move toward them with a sense of joy and a belief that they want to do good work.
Mm-hmm. And they do.
And they do. People
Yeah.
want to do good work.
Right.
They want to have their job be meaningful. They want to feel like they're connected to something bigger
Mm-hmm.
than that one thing that they do at work. And they
Right.
want to feel like work matters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, especially true with this generation, that they really want to feel like there's a bigger reason and that they're connected to a community.
Yeah.
The wisdom of a universal truth. I think Aristotle said something about what you expect from others is what you're likely to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when we practice it in our world and our business, it is transformative. But I might add, it still takes courage.
Yep.
Courage to try something new that everyone else wasn't doing,
Mm-hmm.
where you had to step out and say, this is what we're about. And I think that's where the leadership and the role modeling, especially in tiny Colorado, can make such a difference to have an influence on your peers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you get this opportunity when you start a company to choose
Mm-hmm.
how you're going to show up. And that's really been fabulously rewarding, because you get to say,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to matter to me. How we behave with one another is going to matter. And there are lots of choices out there, and you can either choose what is typically done, or you can say, well, what would I want to do?
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's super. Chris, another winner. Thank you so much.
Well, I've got a whole year. This is going to be a hard act to follow.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, that
Thank
was
you
great.
so much for having me.
And coming down and spending time with us, and you had a great impact on the business community.
Oh, well, good.
Absolutely.
You know, it's taken
I
almost
like that.
It's taken over a century and a half to get beyond Dickens and that Ebenezer thing.
Yeah, there.
See, we're not really as bad as they say.
Yeah, there
That
you
kind
go.
of thing.
All right. Well, you listeners out there, pass this interview along to others that you know would be interested. They can listen to it at w3w3.com 24/7. Download it as a podcast, and it'll be on our blog too. Thanks, both of you guys.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks so much.